Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. There we go. So, well, hello everybody. There he is there. Very good there. Good. Go to watching. So good to see you everybody. Nanda here. So with Dharma Talk, Beginner's Mind is the title. So yes, Ekai asked if I would do a Dharma Talk. So I said, okay, yes, I would do that. And then I thought, well, what would be the topic? I wasn't sure what the topic would be. So we'd recently studied writings from Hakuin on Kensho, and it's great. I recommend it, really good. So I thought, that's it. That's what I need to do. And so I thought, well, I better get those papers out and have a look. And then I must have been doing some work on it or reading it. And then I took a break and looked at my email, and Ekai said, had written, we need a title for the Dharma Talk. He didn't say ASAP, but, you know, Ekai's kind of on things and he's on it. So I thought, oh, I better, what's it going to be then? And just it came to me the phrase beginner's mind. So I thought, first thought, best thought. And I wrote back and said, beginner's mind. And even though Hakuin is a really important figure in Rinzai Zen lineage, but that can be, that can be in another Dharma talk. Maybe I can do that in another Dharma talk, but this one, beginner's mind. So what does that mean for me? What does that mean? So, well, one thing is, this is my first Dharma talk. So I am a beginner as somebody giving Dharma talks. So in this very moment, I bring my beginner's mind as totally as possible, my unknowingness. I come to you afresh. I come to you not knowing, just being here now with what I'm doing. And when I think of this, it brings me I feel a kind of relief, and I feel there's a lot of potential and possibility when I come afresh to this and to anything that I do. And if I think of in my life, all the things that that I do, but all of us do, like I get up and I clean my teeth and I have a shower and I make my food and I drive a car, and some of us go and work in something away from home or at home. I do the garden, I feed the chickens, and so many things, and we all of us do those different things. So I can bring my mind, my beginner's mind, to all those actions afresh, and not doing it automatically, but bringing myself anew every time. So, for example, when I get up, my feet hit the floor, I put my slippers on, I'll go to the kitchen, I'll put the kettle on, make a cup of tea. Now, in doing that, they're all very matter-of-fact actions, but I can actually do them with awareness. When I stir the milk in my tea, I put milk in my tea, I can stir it, and I can be aware of the stirring. It's very simple, and it can be great in our lives, because actually what our life is, just like right now I'm sitting here, And so I'm sitting, and then another time I get up, and then I'm standing. And then when I go to bed, I'm laying down. So life is actually really simple. And if I can bring that freshness, that new awareness to everything, that and on the cushion also, every time I'm on the cushion or sitting in zazen, meditating, like when we sat just now, I was like, okay, just going back, watching the breath, being aware of the breath coming up, going down. So that's how I would see beginner's mind. And when I thought of that phrase, it wasn't because of a book that has been on my shelf for many years and there's a book called Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. If any, you might have seen it, some of you. And if you haven't, I totally recommend it. It's quite a slim book, as you can see, and it was written by Shunryu Suzuki, and it's very simple. And so I thought, oh, well, I better have a look. Let's have a look at that book. And well, Beginner's Mind is, and at the beginning, these two kanji, which are Chinese symbols here, that one and that one, beginner's mind, the two together, beginner's mind. And okay, so the first kanji, I've got them here, but I realized that they probably look back to front to you because I've put them on paper. I'm not sure about that, but I think they must, because when I look at myself, they're back to front. So anyway, but the first one is sho, and the second one is shin. So the first one, sho, means beginning, first time. And the second one, which is, you might see it, remember it, because you might have seen it in Japanese calligraphy, it's quite often used, is shin, which means heart, mind, spirit. Now the translation in English is mind, but in Japanese it's heart, mind, and which reminds me of what we've learned from Jumpo, which is clear, deep heart, mind. So you can connect to beginner's mind constantly now. I can keep coming back, oh, beginner's mind, and there's a learning in it, there's an openness in it. Even if you're a master of something, that you're really good at something, you can bring beginner's mind. Like if you're a master of a calligraphy, well, actually calligraphy is a good example, because in Japanese it's really, every time you do a brush stroke, you never go back over it, you just do it. You start and then you go and then you stop, but you don't go back and fill it in or anything like that. So it's just pure, so it's a good practice to bring your beginner's mind to that. And say if you're a musician, every time you play a note is a new note, whatever the sound is, it's pure and it's now, so it brings us to the now. And if you're cooking something, you might be really good at a certain dish, making a certain meal, but every time you can make it afresh. And also you might improve, you might learn, you might make it improve. So I invite you to consider beginner's mind in your life and to bring beginner's mind. And in the Mondo Zen koan work that we do in our lineage, we have clear, deep heart, mind. So, and also in koan number 4, what is the difference between I don't know and not knowing? So if I think of that, so if I say I don't know, I feel kind of tight and kind of rigid and ooh. And if I go, not knowing, and I allow myself to not know, there's an openness, and I feel that not knowing and beginner's mind are connected because there's an innocence and a newness in it, and we can bring ourselves afresh. So in this Dharma talk, I bring beginner's mind, and in that I can hopefully be more open and pay attention. I can listen to my own heart. I can listen to others. I can be aware of you, even though you're little figures of people that I've met many times, and I can bring love and compassion, and that is beginner's mind. I feel we can equally say beginner's heart and beginner's spirit. And the other thing I feel from the Japanese, there's heart mind, is that some of us come more easily from the heart, it seems, and some come more easily from the mind, the head, the mind. So it's not separate, there's one. And I think for me, I come more easily from the heart. So my practice is, how do I bring that to the mind? How do I bring that to the expression of how I express things, how I understand things? And for other people, maybe they can understand more intellectually or cognitively, more easily and quickly. And so maybe that practice is to, how can they drop down into the heart and bring it as one, so we are then clear, deep heart mind. So yeah, so I think I'd like to read a little bit from this book, a few paragraphs that are right at the beginning. This book. Okay. So this is the words of Shunryu Suzuki. Beginner's mind. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's, there are few. In Japan, we have the phrase shoshin, which means beginner's mind. The goal of practice is always to keep our beginner's mind. Suppose you recite the Prajnaparamita Sutra only once. Suppose you recite, it might be a very good recitation, but what would happen to you if you recited it twice, 3 times, 4 times, or more? You might easily lose your original attitude towards it. The same thing will happen in your other Zen practices. For a while you will keep your beginner's mind, but if you continue to practice 1, 2, 3 years or more, although you may improve some, you are liable to lose the limitless meaning of original mind. For Zen students, the most important thing is not to be dualistic. Our original mind includes everything within itself. It is always rich and sufficient within itself. You should not lose your self-sufficient state of mind. This does not mean a closed mind, but actually an empty mind and a ready mind. If your mind is empty, it is always ready for anything. It is open to everything. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's, there are few. In the beginner's mind, there is no thought, I have attained something. All self-centered thoughts limit our vast mind. When we have no thought of achievement, no thought of self, we are true beginners. Then we can really learn something. The beginner's mind is the mind of compassion. When our mind is compassionate, it is boundless. Dogen Zenji always emphasized how important it is to resume our boundless original mind. Then we're always true to ourselves, in sympathy with all beings, and can actually practice. So the most difficult thing is always to keep your beginner's mind. There is no need to have a deep understanding of Zen. Even though you read much Zen literature, you must read each sentence with a fresh mind. You shouldn't say, I know what Zen is, or I've attained enlightenment. This is also the real secret of the arts. Always be a beginner. Be very careful about this point. If you start to practice Zazen, you will begin to appreciate your beginner's mind. It is the secret of Zen practice. Thank you.